Hi guys, this is Ola from CADpond. In today's video, we are going to be modifying our freeform sculpt, which is this, using our side plane canvas. So this is what we created in the previous video, and so we will be modifying this. What we'll basically be doing today is we're going to be dragging faces, dragging lines, and dragging vertices. Since it is a freeform workspace, it's going to be working in such a way like we have a clay, and then we are able to modify our sculpt into whatsoever shape that we want. Also in this video, we are going to learn how to use the Crease tool, and then we would also learn how to use the flatten tool. At the end of this, we will be able to obtain a sculpt model which looks like this. Alright, so let's get into it. Okay, so from the previous video, we were able to create this and then we finished the freeform, which created a solid body for us. And for us to continue today's work, we are going to go back into the freeform to edit the sculpt. So I click on edit here, and then you notice that we are back into the freeform workspace. Alright, so the first thing that we would be doing here today is for us to create a replica of this body. And the purpose for doing that is because in the process of modifying the sculpts, it's possible for you to mess it all up, and you don't want to lose the original file. So what we'll do is we'll just create a replica which we'll work on. So if you mess it up to an extent where you just can't go back, then you already have the original file that you can fall back on. Alright, so to do that, we go to, I select all of this and type on my keyboard M. So the M is a shortcut for move, but also we could use it to create a copy. So I'll click on create copy. If you notice that the OK here is locked, and I think that's because we are creating the copy on itself. I don't know why. So what we would just do is we just try to play a little bit of a trick. I would say we move it upwards in the Y distance by 0.1 millimeters. Okay. And then I would rename this to new body. I'll change this to original. Since there are just two parts, this might not be necessary. Alright, so with this, I can hide this part, then also go back to this body, click on M again, and then this time around we take it back -1. This time around we're not copying, we are just taking it back down. So I click on OK, and then we have this. So since we have this now, the next thing we would be needing to do is for us to modify the shape of our pad. It looks very weird, definitely, but it gets better. So I'm going to deviate for a very short moment. There's something I should have stated initially, which is has to do with the splines. So if I click on create a face and do this, if I select on spline, I want you to take note of something here. So I'm creating a shape like this, enter, and then another spline with a shape like this, enter. So these are two splines that kind of are going in the same direction. Well, they have the tangential vectors are different, but you get the idea. They are going in this direction. The only difference between these two splines right now is that one has very limited number of points, which is this 1, 2, 3, and 4. While these are a couple of points. Now for the one with very limited number of points, we are able to easily modify this without too much stress. But for something like this where we have more points, pulling one of the points is, or trying to modify this, is going to give you more work to do. So if you notice that this is changing again, and then it's just a basic stuff, like if you have too many points, then it gets complicated to modify. So that's that. So it's something I should have said during the previous video, but I did not. However, I'm saying it now. And the reason why I'm bringing this up at this point in time is to make you know that in the creation of your sculpts, the lesser the number of spline lines that you have, the better. So it allows you to be able to edit your splines and your freeform easily. Alright, so we go back to our new body, make this visible, and we go over to our canvas. We've dealt with the top plane already, so what we need to do now is to deal with the side plane. I go to right view. We know what we have here. It's going to be a little bit tricky, probably a little bit long also, but I'll try not to make it so. Alright, so the first things that we'll do, we're just going to try to get this curved shape here. So I go over to modify, and I would select on this part of this. Let's say we select on it this way, and let's see what we're picking. I also want to pick this. It should select them all. I have no idea why it's doing this. Oh, okay, I know what's going on. So my filter is switched off, so I go to select, selection filter, select true, which means that it's able to select the vertices at the other side also. So modify, I select on all of this way. Alright, and then I will drag these downwards. Yeah, don't be bothered that it's looking weird. And then after dragging this, I'll select on this to rotate quite a little bit. Yeah, that's good. We can see that this is this way using the canvas, so I would select on what we have here and drag this downwards this way. Then I select on what we have here. So basically everything that I'm doing right now is simply based on what looks good to the eyes. So I'm scaling this down a little bit, these faces here. So it's based on what looks good to the eyes, and then until it's good enough for your eyes, then you just keep modifying and doing all of that. Alright, so we notice that here, okay, I think it's a little bit away. I try to be as perfect as possible with this. So we have that. I would select on these faces here, and let's drag this upwards somewhat this way. Yeah, great. This is this way again, so drag this forward. I would scale this down just a little bit. No, let's move it this way. Okay, drag it down. Like I said, I'm just trying to make it perfect. You don't have to do this, but it would be nice if your work is really good. So we would bring some of these faces down also to fit with this canvas here. So I would just say, let's try to select faces along this line and drag down a little bit. Alright, so that's good. I would also drag these faces here, try to select them all. Yeah, so that's what I need. I drag this down kind of this way. Then I would rotate, because it seems like it is rotating in a way. Alright, with that I would drag all of what we have here to make them fit with the shape here, kind of. So I think it's okay at this point. Alright, great. I'll move this again. Let's move these downwards this way. Yeah, good. Then I'll move this, bring this downwards this way. Here. Alright, we have something, a little bit of discrepancies here. So I would just drag these faces upward a bit. Let's see, where is it? Alright, so let's see something like this. Alright, and these faces here, we bring them this way. Alright, so that has been good. I would rotate to observe what I've done. Yeah, it has a little bit of weird looking stuff, but that's fine for now. So we have this is the first part. We've tried to bring this down. We've tried to modify the basics for now, and I could say okay. Alright, so at this point we will try to look at our reference images to observe some of the details necessary, and we would search for, let's see, okay, image 17 is good. Double click. Alright, let's see what this looks like. Xbox controller. Image 17. So we're able to see that this edge here is sharp all the way to this point, and then over here also. But I don't think it goes all the way around. Let's confirm that. So what image should we use? Alright, so looking at this image, we understand that the sharp edges stop somewhere around here, so that's just what we're going to do also. So I'll go over to the tool called Crease, which is here, and then what the Crease does for us is that it helps to convert lines such as these spline lines into sharp corners. So I would select Crease for, first of all, let's deal with what we have here. I'm going to select every one of these lines around this way. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So yours might not be 11, but we just select all of the crease lines here, and then we come over here, and I would also select crease lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, and click on OK. So what we have here now, you notice that we have our sharp lines and sharp edges here also. At this point in time, we notice that the sculpt is definitely not perfect, so we have to do more modification. So I would go to the box mode, alternate and 1, and then just move around many of the parts. So it's looking really weird, as you can see here. So I'll try to make this look at least sensible enough. And in the meantime, I'm going to make this speed up a little bit, and I'll meet you at the end of my modifications. So the trick is that you should try as much as possible to make it look good in this box form, and if it's good enough in the box form, then you're going to get something really good also when it's smooth. So in the box form, you don't want lines to be crossing each other. You want everything to be arranged properly. So that's what I'm trying to do here today. Alright, so at this point, it still looks weird, but I'm just going to select on 1, 2, 3. I would scale this way. No, take it back to its position. I would do this to make it straight, dragging on that scale line and pulling it downwards. I would select on, let's see, what else I need to select on. So I'll select on the lines that looks like they are not straight enough. So something like this line that looks like it goes down and comes back up. So I select on that front plane. I'll select on this line and try to scale it to become straight. Let's see these lines also. They wouldn't be really scaled. I'll just do that a little bit. Alright. What else do we have? I think we have these lines here, 1, 2, 3. So front view, I would scale these lines this way to make them quite straight. I'll drag on this, drag this down. Yep. Alright, so we have this alternate and 3. That's good. Alright, so at this point we go one more step further. I mean, we can see that it's a little bit smoother right now. So we go back to our reference images and then we open up, okay, since I already have this on, and then we open up reference image 6. Alright, so what we are looking for here is, we understand that the bottom part of the controller is surely not the way it looks right now. It's not really smooth. So we're trying to figure out how this is done. So we notice that there's a kind of extrusion going inwards, and then also taking a look at the 17 again, it is evident that the thickness at this point here is smaller than the thickness behind or in front here. So we are going to be applying those to our work. I would go over to the bottom view. Alright, I'll change this back to the box view and select on each of these faces here. So you notice I'm not selecting the faces on the controller handparts, but just the ones at the center. I'm also not selecting this face here, so we have to be careful about that. I'm also not selecting the faces here. I'm selecting the faces strictly at the bottom, and when I do that, I can come over here this way. Let's see, and switch back on the side plane. Okay, it's not really going to be visible. So I would just drag these parts upwards in some form. Alright, so we do this. That's good. To confirm the distance being used, we definitely have to bring in another canvas. So I'll go to canvas and insert 11, home view, and this would be on this plane. So this is what the canvas looks like, the front view of this. So for now, we have not calibrated, and I would just say okay. So I can call this our front plane. Enter. Right click and calibrate. Alright, so go over to this view. I'll select the extreme ends. Let's try to make our grids on and switch this off. Alright, so the extreme ends will be something from here to, let's see, where is the line, to this point here. So we are going to use our 153 millimeters, which we used in the previous video to calibrate the top plane, and I say enter. With this, let's see, good. So I bring up the top plane and the side plane just to align what we have with these planes here. So it looks good enough. Let's see. It looks good, it looks good, it looks good. Alright, so that's fine. So I can take this back down, bring our body back up. Let's see. Alright, so we'll move it downwards a little bit. Right click and edit canvas. So I'll just drag this down this way. Yeah, this way is good enough. We're going to do a lot of editing and I'll say okay. Alright, so from this we would, let's see, I think I need to move it downwards a little bit more. Edit canvas, just because if you notice this top part of pad, it should be aligned with this. However, it's important to note that the controller here that the reference image we are looking at is not in perspective, but our model is, which is the reason why we have this extrusion downwards here. So it's going to be a little bit tricky, yet simply because we have been able to see controllers in real life, so we should be able to, identify when it gets tricky and know how to fix that. Alright, so this video is kind of long and I don't think anybody wants to do that. So I'm going to break this into two parts, which means that we're going to continue in editing what we already decided to do at the beginning of this video. So I'm breaking this into two parts. This is going to be part 2A, and then at part 2B I complete the initially stated objectives. And this is where we end for today. Hi there. If you liked this video, you can give it a thumbs up by clicking on the like button. And if you are yet to subscribe, it takes you just about 3 seconds to click on the button and select the notification bell so you get updates when new uploads are made. Alright, that's all for now. See you in the next video.